People who work in a casino, what's some of the saddest moments you witnessed? Gambling isn't just a habit. I'm a gambling addict. No sugarcoating it. And it's not some funny little problem or bad habit people like to joke about. It wrecked my life. I've lost just about everything. Friends, family ties, jobs, homes, a car, my credits in the toilet. Even my parents paid the price. Lost their home, their vehicles, their relationships. All of it. I've been clean since February. Not because I magically fixed myself, but because I moved. Now I'm hours away from the nearest casino. A 4-hour drive makes it a whole lot harder to justify blowing $100 for that same stupid high. Back then, I'd spend full $1,000 checks in one go. Overdraw my account. Beg, borrow, steal. Whatever it took to get back in and chase that hit. I burned bridges I didn't even realize I was standing on. I even got denied a job because of a car repossession that's still haunting my credit report. It wasn't until I literally removed myself from the environment, from the people, from the places, that I could start breathing again. Some people don't get it. They think gambling addiction is just a lack of willpower. Like I can just stop pressing spin or stop walking through those casino doors because they've gambled before and walked away fine. But the truth is they had boundaries. They had support. I didn't. But yeah, gambling addiction is real. And it destroys lives if it's not taken seriously. Thankfully, I met someone who actually loves me and stayed. They've helped me get into therapy. I found a therapist who specializes in addiction and trauma, and a psychiatrist who finally listens. I'm working on it. I still screw up. I still make dumb choices. But now I'm doing the damn work. Shadow work. Deep, hard, uncomfortable inner digging. I'm peeling back the layers, exposing the wounds, the rot, whatever it is that keeps me stuck in self-sabotage mode. I'm trying to face it, accept it, heal it, and somehow not destroy everything good in my life in the process. I want to keep a job. I want to feel like I'm okay in my own skin. I want to use my talents, creative and healing, and live more than just a survival mode existence. It's still hard. One night I almost relapsed. I walked out of a casino after blowing every cent of my rent money. Gone. I didn't even tell my mom, who was inside with me. I just left. Wandered off down some frozen country road. Snow falling all around me. No direction. Just empty. My brain went to that dark place. If I was gonna die, I wanted it to hurt. Wanted to freeze to death alone. Like the dramatic mess I felt I was. But my mom had a gut feeling. She left the casino and found me walking miles away down that road. I didn't know it then, but that moment, being found, it mattered more than I ever admitted. Look, gambling addiction isn't the same for everyone. Some people can handle it. Some can't. I'm one of the ones who couldn't. And it doesn't help that certain places make it so easy. Like, in Colorado, you've got to drive to specific cities for casinos like Black Hawk. But in Oklahoma, they're everywhere, on all sides, 15 minutes away, all on indigenous land. I will say, Colorado's rules around self-banning and casino regulations are a hell of a lot better than what I saw in Oklahoma. That matters. I don't hate on people who gamble. I really don't. I do warn them. Can you blame me? I've lived through the worst-case scenario. I just hope someone out there hears me before it gets that far. Because some of us don't get a second chance. At the same time, I see how the gambling industry supports indigenous communities. It's complicated. There's pain and power mixed up in that, and I don't pretend to have the answers. I just have my story. A few things I've learned the hard way. Addicts can't be forced to get better. They have to want it, and they've got to put in real effort. Relapses happen. It doesn't make someone evil, but it's okay for you to set boundaries. You're not responsible for saving anyone but yourself. Support helps. So damn much. Kind word. A fist bump. A "you got this." Doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Just something that reminds us we're not trash. Because shame doesn't heal people, it buries them. Anyway, that's my TED Talk. Or confession. Or journal entry. Whatever. I'm still here. Still trying. And that's something. EMT nights at the beach casino town. I wasn't a casino worker myself, but I worked as an EMT in this beach town on the East Coast that honestly felt like a budget version of Vegas. On any shift, we'd get called out to the casinos 3 or 4 times, sometimes even more during the summer months. It wore me down. Most of the calls were the same old thing. People hammered on booze or people faking injuries from slips and falls to try to scam the place. But sometimes there were real tragedies. Suicides, overdoses, assaults, rapes. It was way too common. There's one call that still haunts me. We got a 2 a.m. call about a woman in her 70s, sitting at a slot machine complaining of chest pain. She was clearly in bad shape, but she refused any kind of treatment. We tried everything. Pleading, reasoning, even had the cardiologist on call get on the phone to talk to her. But she just wouldn't listen. She said she was on a streak and wasn't about to quit. About an hour later, we were back there doing CPR. She died right there in front of that same slot machine. On her person was a slip showing she just won $7. It was just messed up. And the employees? Man, so many of them were running themselves ragged. We treated tons of them for exhaustion or diabetic emergencies because they never got enough breaks to check their blood sugar or just catch a breath. That town? It was brutal. Life behind the casino counter. I worked as a cashier at one of the food outlets inside a casino. It wasn't just flipping burgers or ringing up orders. Sometimes you saw the darker side of what gambling does to people. One moment that still sticks with me was when this kid came into the diner. He sat down quietly, staring straight ahead with this blank, empty look on his face. The server went over to him, and the kid just asked, "How do I tell my parents I just lost my college money?" There were plenty of stories, but that one hit me the hardest. If you ever go to a casino, please don't take out your frustration on the employees. It's not our fault you lost everything because you couldn't stop. I'm genuinely glad I'm not working there anymore. It was probably the lowest point in my life. Here's another one that came to mind. A college-aged couple was in the diner for a while. The girl went to the bathroom and the guy waited outside. After about 15 minutes with no response to his texts, he asked a woman nearby to check on her. She came back with a security guard. The girl had cut her wrists in the bathroom while her boyfriend waited just feet away. I was lucky. I was leaving that night and didn't have to witness the rest. This casino was on native land. No real significance beyond that, except smoking was allowed inside, which made the hotel side and banquet halls connected to it a bit nicer because there was an entryway separating those areas from the casino's smoke and noise. One time, I was working in the coffee shop on the casino side near this entryway when a man suddenly ran out of the hotel side, being chased by another guy. The second guy tackled him to the ground and started beating him up. Security showed up and broke it up, assuming the guy who did the chasing was the aggressor. But it turned out the guy being beaten had been caught molesting a young boy in the bathroom. The attacker was just defending the kid. The molester ran off and, as far as I know, was never caught. The guy who fought him wasn't arrested either, at least not that I heard. Then there was this tragic birthday story. One of the servers was working on her birthday. Her mom and sister had gotten a hotel room to surprise her during a break because her dad was supposed to be out of town for work. When she got permission to visit them, they all went up to the hotel room to celebrate with cake. But then her dad showed up early, trying to surprise her, and he collapsed from a heart attack. He passed away there while waiting for everyone to gather. Management was quick to handle it. They sent her home for the day, covered her shifts for the rest of the week, and made sure she knew about bereavement leave. Those moments remind you that behind the bright lights and flashing machines, there's a whole lot of pain and heartbreak nobody sees. A summer job and a tragedy at the casino. I'm still learning English, so please forgive me if it's not perfect. I worked one summer at a casino in my country. My job was as a steward. I cleaned up after the customers. There was this one client who always bragged about winning a lot of money. He didn't seem to care when he lost here and there. A few months after I quit, the casino made national news for a terrible reason. That same client got very drunk one night and lost a huge amount of money. When he realized how much he had lost, he went to his car, grabbed a gun from the trunk, and came back inside the casino. He shot and killed 3 people, a dealer from the table he was playing at, a random man who was just walking by, and a steward working that shift. After the shooting, the casino was evacuated, and the man hid in a bathroom. He died there after shooting at the police officers who came to the scene. What made this tragedy even worse were the victims' stories. The dealer was only 22 years old and working hard to pay for college. The steward was a mother of 2 boys. And the random man was visiting the casino for the very first time. To sum it up, a drunk man lost too much money, killed 3 innocent people, and died trying to shoot a police officer. A family and a casino addiction. About 15 years ago, I worked as a bar manager and bartender at a casino. Over time, I got to know a lot of regular customers. I could tell what drinks they liked, how often they wanted one, and how their choices changed when they won or lost. There was one family that came in a lot, a father, mother, and their daughter who was about my age. After seeing them once or twice a week for a year or 2, we got pretty familiar. The parents often tried to set me up with their daughter, but she wasn't really my type, and I was in a relationship then, so I gently turned them down. Then, the father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. After that, the mother and daughter started coming in almost every day. They talked a lot about the high medical bills and how badly the father was suffering. It broke my heart to know he was dying, and yet his family was spending so much time and money at the casino instead of being with him. I didn't know what to say because I needed that job more than I needed to take a moral stand. After the father passed away, the mother and daughter came in the very next day. I brought them their usual drinks, and I also brought his favorite, a White Russian. The mother started crying. She stopped coming in so much for a while. I don't think it was spiteful, but I believe it made them think about what was really going on. Maybe too late. They invited me to the funeral, but I had to work and couldn't go. They tipped better when the father was alive. After he died, the mother would order as many screwdrivers as I was legally allowed to serve her. Whether that was 1 per hour or every other hour, I can't remember. It seemed like both the mother and daughter developed serious gambling addictions and maybe alcoholism too. I hope they're doing better now. They were kind, caring people trapped by addiction. I still dislike gambling. In the last 10 years, I've probably been to a casino fewer than 5 times. Mostly just to eat at the buffet, which can be amazing at some places and terrible at others, and sometimes to play real table games with cards instead of machines. High rollers, fake rich, and casino life. I worked behind the scenes with some of the highest level players in a casino. I wasn't a dealer, but I dealt directly with these big spenders. Some of their stories were wild. One group of guys came in, all under 30, living like rock stars. They made their money early on from spice, synthetic THC. They blew through everything, and when it was time to leave, they couldn't even afford a helicopter ride to the airport, which was just a 15-minute drive with traffic. They lost their minds over having to take an Escalade instead. I've never seen anyone so entitled. Another young guy hit it big one night, made maybe $600,000 to $700,000. Somehow, I gave him my phone number. On a day off, he called me asking if I could wire him $200 so he could double it. By my next shift, he was broke again. I visited him much later. He was living in probably the worst part of Houston I've ever seen and doing absolutely nothing productive with the money. We also had a super wealthy player who came in only every year or 2. One time he made around $2 million and destroyed a limo on the way to the airport. The limo spent 6 months getting its interior replaced. He came back another time, lost a little over $4 million, and stayed cool as a cucumber. I'll never understand people like that. The worst stories, though, were about people I considered friends. Everyone hits a rough patch sometimes, so I tried to help them. Free tickets to sold-out shows, favors with club owners, anything to make their stay less awful. But they never slowed down or stopped throwing away money they didn't have. They lost whatever spark made them who they were. Every single one. I still see them online flaunting VIP access, which they clearly got by using someone else's account. It's depressing and surreal to watch someone live a completely fake life. On the plus side, I met tons of celebrities, some cool, some not so much. I got paid really well for my age and had zero oversight, which made for some great stories. And the comps. Holy crap, the comps. People would spend thousands of dollars just to get an upgraded player's card. There were 5 levels. The first was red. The second was useless and required $10,000 in play. The third level, where you started to get benefits like 10% discounts on shopping and food, required $75,000 in play. The fourth level was the one everyone wanted, It gave you access to the VIP lounge with free snacks and drinks, but it cost $250,000 in play. Yes, $250,000. The highest level was a black card, needing about $875,000 in play. Only the truly wealthy had these, and they got free reign of the casino. Levels 1 to 3 were mostly just regular gamblers who hated retirement, emptying their accounts for a shiny plastic card and mid-tier concert seats. The kicker: the cards reset every year. If you didn't gamble enough in 12 months, you lost your card. It was one of the few things that really separated the real rich from the fake rich. The real rich usually didn't bother with player cards or points. They knew their worth. The casino either treated them right or they took their millions somewhere else without hesitation. Those few years taught me a lot. Pai Gow Tiles vomit and the bonus bet betrayal. I got 2 stories for you. Bear with me. First one. It was my 3rd day dealing, fresh out of dealer school. I'd been in the casino industry for 10 years but just started dealing. They put me on a game called Pai Gow Tiles. It's a really tough game to learn, especially for Americans, because we're so used to poker rules. For example, a pair of 4s beats a pair of 10s. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. Anyway, on my 3rd day dealing, I'm on a 25-minute game. This guy bets $50 to $150 consistently for 3 hours. He starts with about $500 and builds up to $3,000. Then he puts it all on one hand. We all wish him good luck. He sets his hand, excited, showing off his monster hand. I deal the winning hand. It's called Jigoon or Teen Bo. It's literally unbeatable, the god hand. It's a pair of aces and a pair of kings. His hand was basically a pair of queens and pair of jacks, what dealers call Dai Bo or Gore Bo, a 99.9% winner in every other situation. He slams the table, chips fly everywhere, and then he starts to make himself vomit. He actually succeeds, splattering everywhere. Security is on him in seconds. He's banned for life and the whole pit closes because of the biohazard. Oh, and he didn't leave a tip. Second story. I've been dealing Pai Gow poker for about 9 years now. Not tiles like before, this is the card version. It's a full table and a game with lots of pushes, so you can play $200 at 10 to 20 a hand for a couple hours easy. The big draw is the bonus bet. Catching 4 of a kind, straight flushes, royal flushes, they pay huge. Even if you lose the hand but get the bonus, you still win money. Now here's the twist. If you bet $5 or more on the bonus, you get the envy bonus. That means if anyone else at the table hits a monster bonus, you get paid some cash too. There were 5 players. 4 played the bonus and had envy active. One guy didn't play the bonus. He bet his last $15 on the hand. No bonus bet. He wakes up with the best possible hand, a 7-card straight flush with no joker. The joker's a wild card used for straights, flushes, or as a 5th ace. He shows everyone. The table cheers because their $5 bets win them each $5,000 from the envy bonus. If the guy had played the bonus himself, his $5 would have paid $8,000 to 1, meaning $40,000. But he didn't. So he turns to the table and says, "Look, I didn't play the bonus. I'm going to win nothing while you all win $5,000 each through envy. Will each of you throw me $1,000 so we all walk away with $4,000 each?" The table starts yelling, "No, fuck you. We earned this," and basically telling him to get lost. He shrugs and mucks the hand to the dealer. Then the whole table loses it. "No, what the fuck are you doing? Take it back. We'll split. We'll give you the 1,000. I'm thinking, hell yeah. Screw those greedy assholes. They all got $5,000 each off your hand while you win nothing? The managers come over. The players demand to be paid since the guy had the bonus hand. But the rules say that until the player officially sets the bonus bet and the dealer reveals it on camera, the player can fold freely and forfeit the bet. The guy walks away yelling, "Hey, we all could have had $4,000 each, but you wanted to be greedy. It was awesome. Sad for those greedy folks, but justice served." Dogs left in a hot car at Kentucky Derby weekend. I've been in the casino business for 10 years. My first casino had a racetrack too, and Kentucky Derby weekend was always one of the busiest times. One hot Saturday, I was starting my shift at 6 p.m. We had to park in the overflow lot so valet could use the regular employee parking. As I was walking toward the employee entrance with a few other dealers, we heard dogs barking. We looked around and spotted an SUV with its windows up, and inside were a couple of yellow labs barking like crazy. What kind of asshole leaves their dogs locked in a car on a day this hot to go gamble? We all looked at each other, but one dealer was already on the phone with security, looking like he could kill someone. I worked in Pennsylvania, where the state police have an office right on site at every casino. The cops showed up in less than 5 minutes. They surrounded the vehicle and waited for the dogs to get near the back. When the dogs moved toward the rear, one trooper smashed the driver's window with a club. They unlocked the doors and got the dogs out safely. After the dogs were clear, the officers proceeded to break all the other windows to make sure no one was left inside. By the time I hit the casino floor, I'd already started hearing stories about the incident. Some exaggerated, but close enough to the truth. As for the owners, they were pulled off the blackjack table they were playing and arrested. In Pennsylvania, if you're arrested for any crime at a casino, you get put on the state's exclusion list. That means you can't enter any casino in the state again, or you'll be charged with trespassing. Former pit boss casino stories. I'm a former pit boss. One night, I talked a trans blackjack player out of killing herself after she blew $60,000. Hit me deep, really sad. Her problems weren't caused by the casino, and I didn't feel much occupational guilt, but I just couldn't let her go through with it. Trans folks have a high rate of self-harm. If you ever find yourself in a position to help someone like that, please do. Another night, there was this guy throwing around 20 grand like it was nothing. After a few beers, he decided to pull out his dick and pee under my craps table. On a Saturday night with the casino packed. The piss got on one of my dealers and she was furious. It even splashed on some nearby players, and I saw their reactions. I told everyone that half the table was closing because the guy was getting arrested. They lost their minds, demanding I let them stay and gamble in the piss. It was disgusting. One thing you'll definitely see if you work in a casino long enough is someone dying from a heart attack or stroke. We're used to seizures, but when someone dies or has a life-altering medical event, it's obvious. The saddest part is how most people don't do anything. Sometimes customers even get mad when we have to close part of the floor. I've never seen more than one table or 6 slots closed off after someone dies, and usually only for about an hour. If someone spills a drink on a dice table, we close it longer than that. Here's one last story. I had this awful guest who came in and hurled abuse at my employees. She tried to stroke every dealer at the table minimum for 3 nights straight. She was losing money and seemed bottomless. Lord knows where she got the cash because it was all crumpled up small bills. On the 3rd night, I didn't have anyone willing to deal with her, so I stood there most of the shift, controlling her and still taking her money. It's a job after all. Then, around 3 a.m., I got a call. Police were there looking for her. Turns out she'd left her 3 kids in the car for 8 hours. The youngest was 2 years old, the oldest no more than 8. Bye-bye, lady. I've got about 1,000 stories like this,